Hello and welcome to Granada Reports, live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, on the programme this evening.
A poisoner at work, killing and trying to kill premature babies at the Countess of Chester Hospital. Nurse Lucy Letby goes on trial denying all the charges against her.
We'll be live with the latest from Manchester Crown Court.
Also on the programme tonight.
Crossing the finish line, 3 dads, 600 miles, and a hugely important message about preventing young suicide.
For the love of Len, the football match in memory of Len John Rose, another sporting hero lost to motor neurone disease.
Liverpool.
The moment Liverpool's Eurovision dream came true. How the city's preparing for the party of a lifetime.
And in the forecast, better prick up your ears because there is some changeable weather on the way. All the details coming up.
Well, first tonight, a court heard that a nurse accused of murdering premature babies at a hospital neonatal unit was a constant, malevolent presence and a poisoner at work.
Lucy Letby is accused of murdering 7 babies and attempting to murder 5 boys and 5 girls over the course of a year at the Countess of Chester Hospital.
Well, family members of some of her alleged victims were in court today as the names of the children were read out.
Lucy Letby denies all the charges made against her. Our correspondent Elaine Wilcox reports on the first day of the trial.
The prosecution claim Lucy Letby was a poisoner at work, targeting the most vulnerable patients. As a nurse, it was her job to look after premature newborns. But as they were fighting to live, she set out to kill them. The jury was told there was a pattern to her year-long killing spree at the Countess of Chester's neonatal unit, usually attacking the babies at night, out of sight of their parents. All 17 babies were just the size of a hand. Lucy Letby is accused of murdering 7 babies, 5 boys and 2 girls, and the attempted murder of another 10 babies, in some of those cases trying to kill them multiple times. The prosecution claims she used a variety of methods, injecting their tiny bodies with insulin or air, or in some cases too much milk in their feeding tubes. Some of the babies' families were in court to hear the distressing details. In a quiet voice, the former nurse said not guilty to all 22 counts. It was in 2015 when consultants realised the Countess of Chester Hospital had an unusually high death rate on its neonatal unit. 2 independent reviews couldn't explain the cause of baby deaths, but revealed the unit had inadequate staffing. 3 months later, Cheshire police were called in to investigate babies' deaths. Lucy Letby was arrested in July 2018, but it took more than 2 years before she was charged. The prosecution claims she was the malevolent presence when babies were dying or deteriorating without warning. When she was moved from nights to day shifts, the attacks continued. Lucy Letby is originally from Hereford, and her parents were in court, sitting on the opposite side to the babies' families. She denies all the charges and the trial's expected to last 6 months.
Well, Elaine's of the court now, and Elaine, this is an incredibly distressing case. What more have the prosecution been saying?
Yes, it is a deeply distressing case involving tiny premature babies, and the prosecution's opening is expected to last several days. Now, the judge told the jury that this case is bound to provoke an instinct of horror, but they should put aside their emotions and to calmly and dispassionately judge the evidence. Now, none of the babies or their parents can be identified in this case, but the prosecution claim Lucy Letby was the common factor on the neonatal ward when babies were suddenly becoming very poorly unexpectedly, and none of the doctors could understand why. Now, the court was told about child A, who was a twin boy who it's alleged was the first to be murdered shortly after his birth. But despite being premature, he was breathing on his own, but he deteriorated within half an hour, it's claimed, of being handed over to Lucy Letby's care. His skin had a discoloration, which the prosecution claim was the nurse's hallmark. We'll hear more about that in the coming weeks and months of this trial. Now, his twin sister was also attacked, but thankfully she survived. The court was told Lucy Letby also had an unusual interest in the parents of babies who died, stalking them on Facebook. Now, we'll hear from the babies' parents and a number of medical experts who will give evidence in what's expected to be a long and complex case. This trial continues tomorrow.
OK, Elaine, thank you.
Well, next, 3 dads whose daughters took their own lives have ended their 600-mile walk between all 4 UK parliaments in a bid to get suicide prevention on the school curriculum.
Yes, Mike Palmer, who's from Sale, along with Tim Owen and Andy Airy, better known as the 3 Dads Walking, are hoping 100,000 people will sign their petition to get the issue debated in the House of Commons.
The men have also raised nearly £1 million for Warrington-based charity Papyrus. Our correspondent Mel Barham has been following their journey and walked with them before they crossed the finish line in London.
The end of a 600-mile trek that's taken these 3 bereaved dads to all 4 UK parliaments in a bid to raise awareness of suicide prevention. Andy, Mike and Tim started their challenge last month in memory of their daughters, Beth, Emily and Sophie, all lost to suicide.
My dad's world was torn in two, no words can hold the pain he knew. But there was...
Step by step, they've taken their message across the UK in the hope of smashing the stigma surrounding suicide and determined to stop other families going through the same heartache.
My dad will not be ashamed, my dad's walking on.
Through bustling cities and beautiful countryside, they've walked on, side by side, united in grief, but determined to make a difference. Some have cried with them.
3 dads walking on.
Some have sung for them. Many have walked with them, and thousands have supported their journey through donations and by signing their petition to get suicide prevention taught in schools.
So this is the retreat room where students can come and benefit from a more informal space if they're distressed.
Here at Beth's former school in Sale in Greater Manchester, staff say the mental well-being of their students is a top priority.
Why might some people find it hard to talk about mental health concerns?
There's already a heavy emphasis on mental health awareness in PSHE lessons, but no mention specifically of suicide. And that's what the 3 dads want to change, making it a compulsory element of the curriculum. Staff here would be in favour.
I think it ought to be added. I think there's an awful lot of good work being done on mental health. We do a lot of work around healthy coping strategies and unhealthy coping strategies, but there's room to develop that, and I think specific reference to suicide prevention would be really helpful.
There will be people who will be concerned that talking about suicide is going to put that idea into a child's head.
Young people are very aware of these issues already, and if they're not hearing from a responsible source about them, they're hearing from an irresponsible source, and that's a lot more dangerous.
Is there anybody who'd like to share what they...
Amongst the students here, there's also support.
I think they should add it just to make it so that people who have those problems or are thinking of it, they can get it all out and get it away from them.
I think it would be good because I remember learning about it in year 4 because of the 3 dads walking, and I found that very useful because I got to talk to my mum about it.
I know a lot of people may have been thinking about these thoughts, but if we have talks about this, then we can help prevent them from doing that and help them know that there's a better way.
Thank you very much for coming down. I can't tell you how much it helps us.
Today, their final leg took them through central London, and despite the early morning start, scores turned up to walk with them, many also bereaved by suicide, like Sabina, who lost her son James at the age of 16.
I just feel very strongly that I want to do something so that other families don't have to go through what we are going through.
Through driving rain, the route took them past Buckingham Palace, Downing Street and then to Westminster, in the hope that those in power were listening.
We just want to save young people's lives. It's too late for us with our 3 daughters, but we know we can save their lives.
What is going to go through your mind when you cross that finish line?
A whole range of emotions, really. I mean, just the whole trip.
The timing of their finish was deliberate to coincide with World Mental Health Day. But even getting 100,000 signatures on their petition, they know is only the first step.
The real end point is getting it on the curriculum. Because once you start doing that, that starts to change things forever.
This is way above politics. It's about the future of our kids. And who wouldn't want to try and save some of their lives? And if it makes a difference to a few, then it's worth doing, isn't it?
Their walk may be over, but they know there is still a long road ahead. But thanks to their marathon effort, they've already saved lives. Mel Barham, ITV News, London.
And there's more information about that petition to make suicide prevention part of the school curriculum on our website. And we should say it was very, very near the 100,000 mark as we went on air. Just head to itv.com/Granada for that. 3 dads walking, so inspirational, aren't they?
Yeah, an incredible group of guys. I mean, they are still only about 500 signatures short, so they are almost there. But what's awesome to see is that there's so many people from not just the region, but around the country supporting them.
Yeah, everyone's getting right behind them. It's
yeah,
great.
Wonderful, good stuff. OK, more of the day's news now. And a group of former rugby league players are taking legal action against the sports governing body over head injuries they suffered during their careers.
The ex-St Helens captain, Bobby Goulding, is one of 75 players who claim they've suffered brain injuries as a result of playing the sport. They're set to sue the Rugby Football League, claiming it failed to take reasonable action to protect players from permanent brain injury.
Well, former St Helens star James Graham, who isn't part of the group, is the latest big name to reveal he's had worrying scan results. Speaking at today's World Cup launch, leading coaches say safety measures are now improving.
It's a real shame, and I know James really well. He's a man that I've got enormous respect for, and it's a real concern for all of us involved in the game. It's something that I think the game has moved forward with really well. You know, we're all a lot more aware, we're all a lot more educated, and there's some things put in place, and you know, obviously it's something that there needs to be a lot more research put into so that we can figure out how we handle it going forward.
I do know that we take it very seriously now as a governing body. A lot of pressure on me to make sure that what we're doing training, the players are looked after, and that's a big priority.
Well, we're going to move on to sport now and remember the former footballer Len John Rose, who inspired us all after his diagnosis with motor neurone disease. Mike?
Yeah, that's right. So before his death, Len campaigned to raise awareness of MND among current footballers. That was after research revealed they're more likely to develop MND than members of the general population. Len died in August. He was just 52. Yesterday, his courage, both on and off the pitch, was celebrated at his former club, Bury. Len's old teammates took to the pitch in his memory and they were joined by his son, Patrick. Chris Hall was there.
The Gig Lane team sheet featured players of all ages and all fitness levels, but they were willing to play through the pain for a friend who tackled his head on. A former Bury, Blackburn and Burnley midfielder, Len John Rose, spent the last years of his life defying motor neurone disease, raising funds and awareness. That stubborn streak now missed by his teammates.
You were never ever going to get away with you being actually correct at what you said, because Lenny would have an opinion on it. We're talking about a discussion point about football, and he just said, listen, Col, just because you won the Premiership doesn't mean to say you're correct.
Oh, he would always just laugh at us and give us a stick, and the worse we play, the more mistouches and stuff. I think he would enjoy that more.
There's a lot of lads here carrying all sorts of injuries, certain ages and all sorts, and they're only here because of Len. So I think that says everything, really.
After their mourning, this was a proud day for Len's family, not least his son Patrick, who would play in his honour. Your dad was such a humble guy. What would he have made of this?
Would have kept quiet a bit, but he would have liked talking about it when we got back home. He wouldn't have shut up about it.
And what would he have made of you getting a run out today? Would he have been coaching you through it? Yeah. Would he have been telling you when you've done anything wrong?
Yeah, he'd be telling me, he'd be harsh with me as well, telling me every little detail he would be doing, yeah.
Obviously, the atmosphere here is tinged with a little sadness, but there's also a celebratory air. Many of these supporters haven't seen a game played here at Gig Lane since the club was expelled from the Football League 3 years ago, so they've got plenty to cheer about. There's also been the unveiling of the Len John Rose stand and even a John Rose on the score sheet.
Son's just got his hat-trick, yeah. It wasn't fixed, no.
Lenny, what a footballer and what a lovely man he was.
Very moving to see all the players stood round in the semicircle and everybody clapping him. He achieved such a lot for the club.
He was a legend, he was a gentleman and a great ambassador for football.
He'd have felt a little bit uncomfortable just because he never saw the limelight, really. I think he'll be smiling, but also a little bit uncomfortable and embarrassed at the same time.
I can't be more proud of what he did for MND. He's got a lot of good friends that are here today. We're going to look after his family for the rest of their lives, because Len was our mate.
Overall, Bury Legends beat a John Rose 11 by 5-4, but while they took the win, the applause was all for Len. Chris Hall, ITV News, Bury.
To the Championship, where Vincent Kompany's Burnley continue to keep the pressure on the leaders. They won 1-0 at Coventry to climb up to 4th in the table, 2 points adrift of leaders Sheffield United. Ben Brereton Diaz scored twice as Blackburn Rovers beat Rotherham 3-0, while Troy Parrott scored a late winner for Preston North End as they beat Norwich City by 3-2. 2 late goals from Jerry Yates earned Blackpool a 3-1 win at home to Watford. Other North West winners over the weekend included Salford City, who stay in the League 2 playoff places thanks to their 1-0 result at Northampton. Tranmere Rovers made it 4 league victories in a row as they won 2-0 at Sutton United. Stockport County returned to winning ways with a 1-0 result away at Bradford. And Rochdale remain in the relegation places but recorded a much-needed victory, 1-0 away to Newport County. It's a big night for Manchester's Bellevue Aces, who are racing in Speedway's Premiership Grand Final. The Aces, who were beaten in last year's showpiece event, are hoping to be crowned champions for the first time in 29 years. They face Sheffield Tigers over 2 legs. The first is at home tonight.
It would mean a lot for a lot of people around here. I mean, there's been a lot of work gone in to get to this point. There's been a lot of near misses in just recent times, so I think I get reminded on a daily basis that how long it's been. So I know how important it is to this club, and it's time. It certainly is, and we've got the team to do it. So we've just got to get on with it.
To rugby union, and Sale Sharks have continued their 100% start to the new season. They made it 4 wins from 4 games thanks to a 26-16 result away to Leicester Tigers. It moved them top of the Premiership table, albeit briefly, as Saracens climbed above them yesterday. Finally, to an astonishing moment on the basketball court.
He throws it on the backboard to himself! Oh, have you ever seen anything like it?
A simply incredible play during the showdown between Manchester Giants and Cheshire Phoenix. Giants star Taj Green playing the ball to himself off the backboard. An incredible dunk that has been the talk of the sport all weekend. The Giants won the championship match by 104 points to 82. Just when you think you've seen everything in sport, something like that happens.
That was amazing.
That was incredible. I wish I'd been there.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks, Mike. Now, just time for a quick look at what's coming up on the ITV News at 6:30 with Mary.
Coming up in the programme, on trial, the nurse accused of killing 7 babies and attempting to kill 10 more while working in a neonatal ward in Chester. In court today, Lucy Letby denied all 22 charges against her as the families of her alleged child victims sat and watched. Also tonight, Ukraine's capital is shattered by deadly missile strikes as President Putin seeks revenge for so-called terrorism against Russia. And saved by a star, the local bookshop given a helping hand by a big name in Hollywood. Would you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
Now, in just over 8 months' time, the eyes of the world will be on Liverpool as the city hosts the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yes, it's the first time in 25 years that the event will be held in the UK, after our entry came second to last year's winner, Ukraine. It can't be held there because of the war.
It is a chance to show off Liverpool to millions, but there are fears some fans will be priced out of the party. Our correspondent, Victoria Grimes, has more.
Liverpool. Congratulations!
As big moments go, this is one Liverpool will never forget. And as soon as those judges made their minds up, the city started the party.
Can't believe it's come to Liverpool. This is brilliant.
We're out tonight, brought my mum out for the first time in months. Always a best time to celebrate Eurovision, so why not? We're going to have a great time, aren't we?
Yeah, we sure are. Can't wait. So exciting.
It's amazing. We haven't had anything like this in England for a while, so it's great that it's being hosted in Liverpool.
Come May next year, the eyes of the world will be on Liverpool. 11,000 packed into the arena, 160 million watching at home. And for the local economy, it's a chance to boost the post-pandemic recovery.
For our businesses, for our skills, for jobs, for everything, this is just one significant moment. This is European capital culture, but it's even on steroids, if I can say that.
Restaurant owner Paddy Smith started getting table requests as soon as the announcement was made. So what's the reaction been like?
People are, going crazy for it. People asking us if we have big screens, which we never do. We've never done it for the football, but I think we might have one or two of the restaurants just probably absolutely go for it. It's going to be party central in Liverpool. I've never really liked Eurovision, but all of a sudden I love it.
Those hoping to party need a place to stay. Many hotels, though, sold out within minutes. And for what's left, prices are sky high.
Well, if I have a quick look online, I can see that there's barely any accommodation left in the city centre for the weekend of the 13th of May next year. The cheapest option is coming out as £1,500. The most expensive, nearly £5,000. That's for an apartment and just for one night.
If those prices are ridiculous, I think it will put people off, and I think that we're not that kind of city.
Hotelier Anne Chambers says that she and the majority haven't hiked their rates up. She thinks those who have could affect the trade long term.
We know that with our fans, they travel the world watching football. We know that the prices they've had to pay when going to watch matches. So I think we get that in the city, and we want that continued customer base to keep coming back here. And I think we're all hopefully going to do the right thing. And those that aren't, I think, they'll be found wanting.
Celebrations and preparations aside, the minds of all here remain with Ukraine. Twinned with Odessa in the war-torn country, their mayor called Liverpool a worthy host who'd make the world sing and dance along with it. And Liverpool is promising to do them proud. Victoria Grimes, ITV News.
Well, a short time ago, we spoke to the Director of Culture Liverpool, Claire McColgan. She was more than happy to relive that magical moment when Liverpool realised it had picked Glasgow to host the events.
Well, it's an incredible moment for Liverpool. Friday night, the kind of city just erupted, didn't it? It was just the most incredible feeling, and it feels the same this morning. We're starting now to kind of plan the whole event, so we're kind of ready to go. I think for Liverpool, it will be a real moment where this city is all over the world, 161 million people looking at it from across the world, and I think for the rest of the Northwest, that kind of ripple effect of how it will impact on them will be huge also. So it's a brilliant thing for Liverpool, but also it's a fantastic thing for the Northwest.
Yeah, and this isn't just about music, is it? It's going to have a huge impact on hospitality and tourism in the city.
Yeah, we kind of have kind of impacted it. It'll bring about £30 million into the local economy from people kind of coming to stay here, eat here and spend a huge amount of time here, because it's not just the one night in the arena that people think of with Eurovision. It kind of goes on for a month at least before. So there's huge benefits for the city, absolutely huge, but also what's really special about this Eurovision is that we're doing this on behalf of Ukraine. So there's a whole other layer of programming and a whole other layer of thinking that we're doing that will really bring kind of the Ukrainian culture into the Scouse culture and create something really magical as part of it.
And Claire, what we don't want is anything to spoil the party. What can the city do about rocketing prices of hotels and other accommodation?
Well, it always happens, doesn't it? When anything's announced as big as this, you know, people who are not doing it for the right reasons kind of hike their prices up and try and fleece people, really. And I think we're really clear that there are incredibly good hotels and good hoteliers in this city who just won't do that. You know, they're in it for the right reasons, they're in it for the long term. And for just as many stories of kind of the stories that have been coming out of the last 2 days, we've also had huge amount of stories of people who are doing it for absolutely the right reasons. Remember, Liverpool is really well connected as well, so if people can't get the hotel they want in this city, there is Southport, there's Merseyrail connections are amazing, and even Manchester, you know, so this is a huge impact for the whole of the North West. But we are completely, obviously, cross with those people who are just trying to fleece people and just don't let them do it, just don't pay it, is what I'd say.
And just remind us again, what are the dates that we need for our diaries?
So the finale is the 13th of May. That's the finale, but up to that point, like probably for a month before, there'll be Eurovision activity happening in the city, whether that's the village that'll be happening where I'm standing at the moment, or whether it's all the work that we're doing with schools, in communities, and in odd places that you probably wouldn't expect Eurovision to happen. So for a whole month before in this city, it will be Eurovision-tastic, and it will just be incredible. And that's kind of the time to come as well. So not just for that final event, that's one big, huge thing, but actually the build up to it, I think, will be the bit that's the most special, because it'll be very different here.
No, it's going to be a really fun occasion. OK, Claire, for now, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, thanks so much.
Excited about Eurovision coming to Liverpool?
Very. What a great coup for the city.
It's going to be a cracker. Here's Emma with the weather.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, very good evening to you. Hope you had a good day. It was a fairly stunning start this morning for many parts of the region, which developed into sparkling sunshine during the afternoon. And as we move forward into the new week, it is looking a bit changeable. There will be some rain at times and strong winds as well, especially on Friday with some gales at those Irish Sea coasts and some cool nights on the cards to boot. So let's take a closer look. Here we go then. Today we had high pressure in charge, a few showers feeding in on the northwesterly, and then Tuesday into Wednesday, some more showers and rain and wind expected on that cold front, and then a couple of deeper lows in fact up to the north and west of Scotland start to dominate, and that's why we get the stronger winds on Friday. Rewinding though to the next few hours, and mostly clear skies, rain across the region, a few showers still feeding in on that northwesterly flow, but largely dry and a little bit of a breeze, enough to keep temperatures up high enough so that we escape a bit of a grass frost. Here are your sunrise and sunset times for tomorrow. Sun's up at 7:30, sets at 6:24. And in some places it'll be showers from the word go out to the north and west there. These could develop a little more widely into the afternoon and certainly make a bit more progress eastwards across the Pennines. But really we get some great sunshine tomorrow. It looks like it's going to be a good day for sun. A little bit of a breeze, temperatures 14 or 15 Celsius, about where they should be for the time of year. Always a wee bit breezier through the Irish Sea. Then the next lot of rain comes in on Wednesday. It moves in quickly and it's slow to clear. On Thursday we start to see the rain, the next band of rain come in about late morning, early afternoon time. For Friday, gales at western coasts and a mix of sunny spells and showers. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Just before we go, we've got some amazing news for you. We told you those 3 dads walking were aiming for 100,000 signatures on their petition calling for suicide prevention to be made part of the national curriculum in schools.
And they've absolutely done it. They've smashed their target. I'm being told it's over 102,000 signatures now, which is enough to trigger a debate in Parliament. Great news. Congratulations to Andy, Mike and Tim.
Yeah, they continue to be so inspiring. I'm sure they'll be celebrating in style. I hope you do too. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.